Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. I'm really excited for this episode today because there's just a lot to cover as always. And I once again wrote everything down in my notes so I don't forget what I need to cover. But I usually don't make episodes that are just about one topic the entire time. Usually it's like a update on my life from the last couple weeks or catching up or giving advice. But today's episode is going to be all on the same topic just because like a lot of events have happened in the past couple days that have just had me thinking about this so much. And so today we're going to be talking about friendships. That's all. I have lots I can contribute to this conversation because I've been a good friend and a bad friend in many instances, and I think there are some things that I want to put out there that I think people need to think about in their friendships, especially now in our 20s. I feel like the friends that we're making and the friendships that we're maintaining right now are super important, as that's like who you might end up spending the rest of your life with. Maybe these are the people that are going to be around you for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And so, how important to make sure you're fostering good friendships and make sure you're being a good friend. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's actually just get right into it. I'm going to read off of this so I don't forget what to say. The first thing we're going to talk about is being loyal to your friends, but not being an enabler. Okay. I just recently went through a bit of a situation where all throughout high school I was friends with these two girls, and my loyalties lied with one of them more than the other. And I think that's perfectly okay. We had known each other longer, we had classes together, we were hanging out more. But however, I was someone who enabled her behavior because I was like, that's my friend, and that's my ride or die, and I support anything you do. And that kind of friendship, I think, can actually be a little bit dangerous because then you don't realize you're enabling behavior that should never be enabled. This word is so hard for me to say, and I've been saying it so much in the past couple days. Enabler. So my friend, I had been enabling just like some stuff that she was doing, just like some shady stuff that she had been doing all throughout high school. I enabled it. I supported her because I was like, what you're telling me, I'm believing what you're telling me, and I'm giving you back support and encouragement and guidance and telling you my opinions on things, right? But that's not necessarily my place to be an enabler. And it came to light a couple days ago. I know you guys are going to be very confused because you don't know the context, but the context does not matter because you might be doing this in your own friendship, you know? A couple days ago, it came to light a bunch of stuff that had happened in high school that wasn't true. So, stuff that I was being told and actions that were happening that I did not know the full story. I did not know what was true or not. And I was just blindly enabling a friend who I thought was my friend, who I thought was in the right, and I thought was the victim. And I come to find out that the other girl, who I was still friends with, but not nearly as close, not ride or die level at that point in high school, she was the victim. She was the one who was getting hurt in the situation. And I had just been supporting behavior that was not okay and that I would never support and I would never do because I thought she was being hurt and being kind of like suffocated in this situation. And so I've had to kind of live with this guilt in the past couple of days as I was able to confess all the things that happened in high school that I knew about and never told my second friend because I thought she was the victim. I thought the second friend was the problem. Regardless of whether your friend is the problem or not, regardless if it's your best friend or someone you've known for a couple days, it's not okay to enable behavior that's like hurtful and toxic to other people just because that's your friend. And I kind of can have a hard time with that because I do support my friends to the moon and back. I'll support my friends doing whatever they do because that's my friend and that's someone that I care about so deeply. But I think it's important if you are in a position of a friendship where you are the person they're coming to talk to and coming to get advice for and whatnot, you should be giving true, honest advice, and you should be thinking about them as a friend, but also as a person who could potentially be hurting someone else and could potentially be making a mess and causing someone to hurt just because of the advice you're giving them. I was giving my friend terrible fucking advice. I was telling her, like, go do this, like, whatever, because you're being hurt, because you deserve better, because you deserve more. Meanwhile, nothing that the information that was coming to me was true. So I was just enabling for no reason. I was just enabling. And it's kind of coming out, and it's kind of just like, it's hurting me because I pride myself on being a good friend and on being a good person and trying to make the right decision, no matter if it's hard, and calling people out on their bullshit if they're hurting someone or if they're hurting me. And I would never do these kinds of things that I was telling someone that's okay, you can do. And so it's kind of like hard, but I think that's something you should think about. Like, are you enabling certain things because it's your best friend, or allowing behaviors that really honestly shouldn't be allowed because it's your best friend or because it's someone you're very, very close with? And if you are, like, maybe low key stop, because it kind of blew up. And this is all stuff that happened in high school, junior, senior year. So that's like 4 to 5 years ago at this point, and it's all coming out right now, and I'm providing screenshots and texts and evidence to my other friend, and I'm finding out that my other friend was the victim the whole time, and the girl that I was supporting and enabling was a liar and was fucking lying to me and lying to the whole world. And that can hurt someone so badly. And it did hurt this other friend. And this other friend over here is someone that I ended up getting very close with after high school, and that she is someone who has always been there for me through some harder times in my life, and I've been there for her. And she's someone that I genuinely view as like a rock in my life, that if anything ever happened and I ever needed someone and I didn't have someone, I could easily go to her. So to find out that all these years I enabled behavior and I supported behavior that hurt her without even knowing, that crushes me. Like, that actually crushes my soul. I'm sick to my stomach. And so to avoid that kind of situation, maybe just, if your friend is telling you something that's not right, even though they're your friend and that's hard to have that kind of conversation, maybe you need to have that conversation with them and tell them, because who else is telling them? I talked to this girl, the one who was doing the problems, and she said, like, not that it's an excuse, but everyone that I talked to supported me. Everyone that I talked to, all my friends, when I went to go get advice, when I went to go talk to them, they all supported it, they all enabled it. So even though I knew it was wrong, when all my friends are telling me go ahead and do it, I'm thinking I low-key can go ahead and do it. And so I could have been the person to be like, wait, that's not okay, that behavior is not okay, and I'm telling you that as a friend. And I never was that person, and I feel like I was just as bad. My behavior by enabling and supporting something so bad is just as bad as the behavior of her, because I knew it was happening, I knew she was doing it, and I was cheering her on. And that is something I have to live with, and it's guilt that's eating me alive, and I hate it, and I don't want anyone else to get into that situation. My best friend Frida, I am very honest with her, and sometimes she does things that are like, maybe I'm like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do that because that might hurt someone, or maybe just think about it before you do it because that'll hurt someone. That's not being a bad friend, that's being a good friend, that's looking out for other people. And it hurts to have a conversation with your friend and tell them, hey, what you're doing is not okay, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is hurtful. It hurts to do that, or it doesn't hurt, but it just doesn't feel as great. It's obviously you want to be supporting the people in your life, but you can't support someone through something that's hurting other people, if that makes sense. I'm not going to go into any more detail because, like, this is actually none of your guys' business, but that's something that needs to be, like, clocked immediately. And I'm not going to give a ton of context because most of these things are, like, genuinely no one's business, but I just want to tell you guys because you guys are my friends. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is another friendship don't fuel fires that hurt your friends. This is something that I genuinely cannot wrap my head around why people do this. But if you're in a situation, if you're in a room, for example, and people are talking negatively about your friends, it is honestly your responsibility, your duty to tell them, don't talk about my friend like that, or to set them straight. If there's a rumor going on about your friend in front of you, it is literally your job to be like, stop, that's not fucking true. If you feel comfortable sitting in rooms where your friends are getting talked about in negative ways and being in conversations like that, and you feel comfortable saying nothing, not defending your friends, and even adding fuel to the fire and giving people more to talk about, you are low-key the worst friend in the world. I'm sorry. If someone spread a rumor about Frida, immediately I'd shut it down. If someone came up to me and was like, did you hear this happened? No one would even feel comfortable coming up to me talking bad about Frida, because they know that's not the right person to tell. If I tell Joanna, first of all, it's going to get immediately right back to Frida. And also, Joanna's not going to agree with me. Joanna's not going to engage in the conversation. Joanna's going to shut it the fuck down. Or she's going to be like, I'm not going to sit in this room and listen to people talk bad about my friends. And that, I think, is a normal mindset to have about a friend, especially a best friend. I have a friend who has not done that necessarily for me on multiple occasions, and it makes me question the validity. I don't know why I'm struggling to say English words. The validness of our friendship. Because, for example, people are talking bad about me. People are talking about me in a room that I'm not in, that I can't be in, that I won't be in for a little bit. And you find out about that, right? It's your responsibility, in my opinion, as a close friend, to tell me, hey, this happened, I heard about this, I witnessed this. If you don't tell me, you just keep it to yourself and I have to find out from someone else, and then I find out that you knew, or I found out that you were in that room, oh my gosh, that's not being a good friend at all. Another example, if you find out information that your friend might want to know that might hurt your friends, I still think it's your responsibility to tell them. For example, if I found out Frida has a crush on this boy named, for example, Bob, I find out Bob's married. It's my responsibility and duty as a best friend to go tell Frida, hey, I know you really like Bob and I know you're really interested in him, but he's married. If I find out, oh, Frida is friends with someone named, I don't know, Barbara, and I find out that Barbara actually hates Frida. It's my responsibility to go to Frida and say, hey, by the way, I know that's your best friend Barbara, but she fucking hates you. Why would I keep that information to myself? Why would I just sit on that information knowing that it might hurt my friend, knowing that she might find out from someone else, knowing that, like, why would you sit on that kind of information, you know? I have a friend who has done that to me multiple times, and it just confuses me because it's like, if I knew information, you would want to hear it from me. You wouldn't want to hear it from a stranger and then find out, oh, Joanna knew this entire time. I think that's so unfair. I think that's being a bad friend. I feel like some conversations with your friends are going to hurt and they're not going to be good and fun, not as exciting as usual. But those conversations need to be had to keep a friendship. I can't be friends with someone who's going to keep secrets about me and hold on to them until I find out and then be like, oh, like, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't tell you because there wasn't a right time. There is always a right time to send me a text and say, hey, like, just need to talk to you about something quick. It's going to hurt me, yes, but it's going to hurt more to find out that you knew and you didn't tell me. And then the other part of this, not fueling fires, is that if you're in the room and you hear the conversation and you hear the negative, or you hear a rumor, or someone asks you about information, don't fuel someone else's fire for entertainment just so you can be entertained. So, like, if someone goes and asks my friend Susie, hey Susie, like, is Joanna getting with this guy? And Susie wants to go and tell all my information and say, like, well, they've been hanging out, they've been hooking up, blah, 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 blah. That's not Susie's place. That's not Susie being a good friend. That's her just adding fuel to someone else's fire, adding entertainment and lore to someone else's life that's not coming from me. I'll tell my lore all day, every day, but it's coming from my mouth. I don't want to hear that my friends are telling other people my business just so other people can be entertained. That's frankly not why I'm here. That's not why I'm telling my friends my business. I love to entertain. I love to entertain my friends, but I do draw a line of where I spread my business to. And if you are my friend and you feel comfortable going to other people, especially people that I am not friends with or people that I do not like, and you feel comfortable telling them my business just so you can keep a conversation going or just so you can entertain someone or add lore to their life, I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's being a good friend at all. And if that's someone who like wants to continue the friendship with me, I don't even know how to, because then I don't trust you. If I'm hearing my stories come out of my ops' mouths and you're the only link to connect it, I don't fucking trust you at all. And I cannot be friends with someone I don't trust, because I pride myself in having deep connections, deep bonds with people. My friendships are very deep and involved, and I have tons of friends, of course, but my close friends who I trust with information about my personal life and the people that I'm going to for support and help and advice, those people I have a very, very, very deep connection with. If I can't trust you, it's not going to be a deep connection whatsoever. It's going to be a very surface level friendship. And those are okay to have. It's not a bad thing to have surface level friendships. I think honestly it's kind of weird if you have deep connections with every person that you're friends with. I think you need some friends for only entertainment purposes, or we're only class friends because we have school together. But if I can't trust you with my information, that brings you down from a deep friend to a surface level friend. There's no trust, there's no loyalties. And so it's kind of hard for me to continue certain friendships with people, because I'm like, every time I tell you some fun, exciting lore in my life or a conflict that I'm going through, I end up hearing it from tons of other people. And I'm like, how do you guys know about that? And you're the only connecting link. So it just hurts me a little bit, because then I'm like, okay, I can't trust you. I can't tell you anything. What is the point of prioritizing a friendship that you can't trust and you can't tell them anything? That's like someone at the grocery store. Like, that's someone you bump into on the street. That's not like a friend. That's not someone you want to spend a ton of time with, because what are you supposed to talk about? The weather? I don't understand how someone can like do that. I have made mistakes. I have been the person to add fuel to someone else's fire just for entertainment purposes. I have been the kind of person, as I said, to enable behavior, but I work towards being a good friend every single day. That is something I am passionate about. Why did my voice just like crack like that? Oh my gosh. I prioritize my friendships extremely. I think they are so important. And especially now in our 20s, these are the only people that I'm around. I'm not forced to be in rooms with people like in school. It's not just my family. It's like, these are people I'm choosing to spend time with. And if they're not good friends for me, I really do need to get out of that friendship immediately, because I don't have time to just sit around and deal with bad friends. I feel like the time to deal with bad friends is in high school. In high school, I think everyone's a bad fucking friend. I feel like in high school, you don't really know how to be a good friend. You don't really know much about life. And it seems like everything is about you in high school, and the world is revolving around you. But in college, and once you get out of high school, it's not like that anymore. And so you can't just settle by being a bad friend and thinking the world revolves around you and whatnot, because that's not how the world works. And you might risk losing lots of really great friendships if you're comfortable with being a bad friend. And so just be a good friend, be a good person. Don't spread people's business if it has nothing to do with you. People aren't here just for entertainment purposes. Even though I have lots of things that happen to me that are entertaining, that I love to share, I think I have insane lore. I have an insane amount of lore. I could sit down and talk to you guys for hours about the random things that happen to me that I'm just like, this is very out of the ordinary. But I choose what I want to tell people. And I might tell you a story and I might tell someone else a different story, but I should have the liberty to be the one spreading the story. You should not feel like my personal stories and my personal information is entertaining that you want to pass it on to other people. It's not entertainment for other people. I'm not a fucking TV show. Like, my life might seem like a TV show. It might seem like every single day is a new episode, and I'm trusting you to come on that journey with me and hear those things and go through these experiences with me, live through me vicariously. I don't know what the problem is, if I need a dictionary, if I need to read some books, because I'm like stuttering and not able to pronounce words. But as I'm saying, like, I'm trusting you with the information about my life because I trust you, because I have a deep connection with you and I want you to be included in every aspect of my life. But I will cut those privileges off so fast if I find out that you are actually just not being a good friend, living through my experiences, thriving off of my drama and my lore, and feeling comfortable spreading it to the world. And usually when people are asking you those questions, they're asking because they know you know, and if they feel comfortable asking you, it's because they know you'll tell them. No one would feel comfortable asking Frida about my love life because they know Frida would not even open her mouth. She would be like, that's none of your business and that's so weird that you're asking me. Go ask Joanna. If they're coming to you thinking you're going to tell them, maybe that is a sign that you are the problem and you should stop doing that because it's so weird. But that actually segues right into my next point of the difference between gossiping about people and telling the truth about people. Because I will tell the truth. If someone hurts me, I will tell them that they hurt me. And I will tell other people that I was hurt. But there's a difference between gossiping and running your mouth and talking shit and spreading rumors versus telling the truth and telling your experience. I had a situation where a group of people really did, like, not really hurt me, but they messed around with my feelings, for example. And as I told someone about that experience that I had, about the way that they made me feel and the things that they did and said about me, I believe that is me telling the truth about my personal experience. I don't think that's me talking shit about them. I don't think that's me gossiping about them. If their actions cause me to be hurt, their reaction should not think that that's me talking shit. That's me telling the truth, telling my personal experience. Now, if I'm adding details and throwing out random things that never happened and slandering their character just to do it, I think that's talking shit. But if I'm saying, hey, these people did this, this, and this, and that's what affected me, I don't think that's talking shit. I think that's telling the truth. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, and I'm sorry if you think that's me gossiping or talking shit about you. The way you made me feel is my personal feeling, and I'm at any liberty to share that. But be careful that sharing of feelings and sharing of experiences doesn't turn into talking shit. Doesn't turn into, oh, I fucking hate these bitches because blah, 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 blah. Because that's like its own category. And I think you can tell the difference. I think you know the difference as you're speaking. As you're saying the words, what's the intent behind it? What's your motive? Why are you telling people about it? When I sit down and talk to Frida about my experiences, I'm telling her because I want her to know how I felt in that situation. I want her to know the experience that happened to me and how I felt and what should I do next. But if I'm going to someone that's not a deep friend, it's just kind of a surface level friend, I'm just trying to entertain them and I'm saying like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what so-and-so did. That's low-key talking shit. That's low-key gossiping. But if you get your feelings hurt or you're in a position that you are uncomfortable in a friendship and someone did something to you and you want to tell the truth about it to the world, that's telling the truth. If you cheated on me and I tell the world that you cheated on me, that is not me talking shit about you. If what I'm saying makes you look like a terrible person, maybe that's because you're a terrible person. If what I'm saying causes people to have a reaction of like, oh, that person is not a good person, that's not my fault if I'm explaining the facts of the case. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is having a backbone and being your own person. Okay, you you are an individual person with your own entire personality, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own everything. And I have been around some people who seem to like stuff that side of them away and kind of attach to whoever they're with at the time and become that kind of person. I think that's another thing that can be kind of dangerous, especially here in our 20s as we're just analyzing and trying to get through life and figure out who we are as people. It's so important to be yourself, be your own person with your own thoughts and ideas and feelings. I have a friend who does not have that backbone in her. And so, depending on who she's with, that's who she is for the day. If she's with me, she's friends with me and she's nice to me. If she's hanging out with girls that don't like me, she suddenly doesn't like me, she doesn't talk to me. If she's hanging out with people who gossip all the time, she gossips all the time. If she's hanging out with people who go to church every single day, she's also at church every single day. And she doesn't have her own personality. And when I'm around her, I only see bits and pieces of everyone else that she spends time with. But I don't see the real her. I don't see her personality. I've never seen her be just her without her being a little bit of someone else. And granted, we do mold and kind of like form into the kinds of people that we hang out with. I just talked about that in another episode. The people you're around are influencing your decisions and your thoughts and your mindset. But at the end of the day, you are your own person. You were raised as your own person. You're an individual person. You have your own brain and your own thoughts. And you don't have to just mold and latch on to the people that you're around just so that you match their energy and fit in. Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit different from the people that you're around all the time. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. And I hate to have a conversation with her and hear her say like, oh, because so and so and so did this, I also did that. And I'm like, you didn't want to make that decision, did you? And she's like, no, I don't know. So I'm like, so why did you do it? You have to have a backbone and stand up and do what you want to do and be your fucking self. Be yourself. You don't have to blend and attach onto the people you're around because then you're just contradicting your personality every single day. Like, as I said, if she's with me, she likes me and we're friends. But if she's hanging out with people who don't like me, she doesn't like me and we're not friends. And it's just like you're contradicting yourself as you move through social circles. And I don't think that's necessarily good. I feel like now is the time to figure out who you are and who you like and who you're friends with, what kind of things you like to do for fun, what your passions and dreams and hopes are, and do those things. And it doesn't matter if the people that you're friends with don't support it and don't like it. Maybe that's not the right friends for you. But you don't have to just fit yourself into their box and you don't have to shrink your personality down and try to be different just so that they accept you or that they want you around anymore. Because if you're being yourself and being a good person and living your life and the people around you don't like what you're doing and don't like your behavior, maybe those aren't necessarily the best people to have around you. And I don't mean like if you're like being a terrible influence or doing terrible things and they don't like you. I'm saying if you vocalize, hey, I actually do want to be friends with that person and I know you guys don't like her, but I like her. I want to be friends with her. If your friends don't like you for that, maybe those aren't the right friends for you. I have a friend who she kind of just, her loyalties lie with whoever she's with at the moment. And if she's with this group of people, she'll tell them all of my business. And if she's with me, she'll defend me and she'll talk shit about those people. And I'm like, if you're talking shit about them to me, but I still see you're hanging out with them, I still see you're doing stuff with them and you're close friends with them, I'm left to assume that you're also talking shit about me when you're with them. And that's just like not really the best feeling, because then I'm just like, I don't really know if that's a real friend. And the reason I feel that way is because she doesn't have a backbone. She doesn't have a spine in her where she's like, this is who I am, this is who I like, this is who I don't like, and I don't care if they don't like me because of it. And that's how I am. I'm friends with Frida, and I do not give a single flying if someone else that I'm kind of friends with doesn't like Frida, because that's my best friend, and I am rooted in my decision and my choice of like, that's my best friend, I'm going to defend her. And I don't care if all these other people don't like her. I don't care if they stop being friends with me because I'm friends with her, because that's my personal decision and my choice. And if you can't do that, if you can't have that like spine of like, no, this is what I like, and this is who I'm friends with, and this is what I like, and this is what I do. If you don't have that, then I think the rest of your life you're just going to go floating through social circles, adapting to whoever you're with at the time. And that's not necessarily a good thing. It's good to be around people who make you feel good, and it's good to be around people who make you feel like accepted and whatnot. But if you feel like you have to kind of change yourself a little bit just because you're around them, then I don't think those are necessarily the best friends for you. The next one we're going to talk about is the concept of wrong person, right time. I've never believed in this concept except for right now. I am fully in it right now, and I finally understand it. I've always thought if it's the right person for you, there's never going to be a wrong time. It's always going to be perfect, whatever. Because the right person is not going to make you wait, and you don't need to wait for the right person. If they show up in your life, they show up in your life. But sometimes the right person shows up in your life when you're not ready for them, and that's okay. I went through an experience where I was friends with someone, and our friendship was so wonderful, but it just wasn't the right time for us to have the friendship. Neither of us had time to pour into each other the amount that we both deserved in that friendship. And so we got a little bit more distant, and then now it's more back up again. And I just can see wrong person, right time. Great person, great friend, but wrong timing. And that's okay. That happens. We went through being that romantic stage with each other, and we ended things because it wasn't the right timing, because he didn't have time and I didn't have time, and it wasn't working. But now we could resume that because I feel like we've had plenty of time in between it to think and to analyze and to heal and to get our lives together and get our lives on track. And now, right now, we have plenty of time to start something up, and it makes sense now. He's a great person, and it's never been one of us is in the wrong. It's always been a very, very healthy, very happy, exciting friendship, but it's just not the right time for it to happen. And I've never believed it. I've never believed in that, but I really do believe in it now. I'm low-key going through that in two different situations. One was from the past. We had a fun friendship, and now is like, it could be right timing. And then another one is that right now we are in that wrong timing. And I know, right person, great person, but they're not healed fully from something that happened in their past. I'm not healed from something that they did to me in the past. And I think we both can see that this is not the right time for us to start something. If in a couple years down the road we connect again and it makes sense in that timing, then that's so wonderful and that's so exciting. And if it never does, then it never does. But there can be instances of wrong person, right time. You don't have to force it because you feel like it's the right person, because then I think it kind of ends up being a toxic relationship where you're in a situation that's not benefiting either of you because it's just not the right time for you to be in that. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is taking risks and stepping out of your comfort zone. Right now, me and Frida are about to step right out of our comfort zones into a very uncomfortable zone. We both are going through some experiences where we have to step out of our comfort zone, and I think it's been so validating and important to have her in my corner, pushing me out of my comfort zone to take risks and do big things, and I'm doing the exact same thing for her. So that's just a great friendship there. You have to take risks and step out of your comfort zone if you want to see any growth. This is just like when you go to the gym and like you lift the same amount of weights every single day. yes, you're getting strong. Yes, you're going to the gym and you're working out, but you're not really growing. You're not making any progress because you're not leveling up and taking that bigger step and being like, you know what, instead of 35s, I'm going to do 45s today. That's the most important thing. And that is also very rewarding. Once you level up and you can raise your bar from point A to point B, that is such a rewarding, exciting thing. And I know it's scary and I know it's hard. Think about something that you are like considering doing or thinking about doing that might be hard or a big step or embarrassing. Just take the risk and step out of your comfort zone. Half the time, no one's even going to notice what you're doing. And the other half of the time, people are going to support you. And if they're not supporting you, once again, maybe they're not a good friend. Maybe they're not your actual friend. Think that whatever you're trying to do, that you have a goal for, or that you're motivated to do, or something that you're just interested in, just do it. Step out of your comfort zone, take the risk, take the big step, because I think it is rewarding. Even if you fail, at least you tried and at least you did it, because I think doing it and trying and maybe not being successful the first time or the second time or the 50th time and trying again, I think that is so much better, and character development and life development, that's so much better than just laying in your bed and deciding I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to just be comfortable. If you have the chance or the resources or even the idea to do something, just go and do it. And I promise it will be rewarding to do it. This podcast has been something that I've wanted to do for years. It wasn't until 2026 when I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm just going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to record myself talking on my phone. I'm going to post on my Snapchat story and see what my friends think. And you know what? Everyone was excited. Everyone was like, this is so great. And I've been posting episodes on my Snapchat story, and people are sliding up and saying like, wow, I really needed to hear this today. Or sliding up and being like, this is so funny. Like, this, keep going. Saying like, this is so entertaining. We live for this. Saying, please post weekly episodes. And I would have never even gotten to that point and gotten that reward and that excitement of like what I'm doing and what I'm passionate about. Actually, other people are interested and they want to hear my voice. I wouldn't have gotten to that point if I didn't just take the risk and do it. And I've been sitting on this idea for years, and I could have been having this impact and talking about myself and my life and my experiences and sharing and connecting with people. I could have been doing this years ago, but I was just scared this whole time. And now here I am. And now it's like taking another risk of like making it more public and putting it on my Instagram and putting it on YouTube and telling the world about it. And that's like kind of scary. But I've had people in my corner, for example, Frida, pushing me to do that and step out of my comfort zone, because she knows that is for the best and that is rewarding. And that is something that Joanna deserves to experience. And I'm the same with her. Sometimes you just have to take a risk for your passions, because otherwise, you're just going to sit dusty on the shelf. If you have the time and the energy and the resources to do it, just fucking do it. Just do it. And if you want to start a podcast, literally do it, because it is so much fun. And I literally just talk all the time, every single day, to everyone. And so I was like, might as well just like put it on the internet for fun. The last thing, it's not about friends, it's not about relationships, it's about you and your fucking brain. Because I heard this, obviously, on TikTok. TikTok is a great place to get my sources. And when I say TikTok, usually it's actually my Instagram reels. Sometimes it's TikTok, but I actually am not a TikTok person. Like, I have been off TikTok. Like, I opened the app. It's not that I'm against TikTok. I just have never gotten into TikTok ever since, like, early high school, and I love Instagram Reels. So when I say I found this on TikTok, just probably assume that it was on Instagram Reels. But it's about your brain, and I think it's so interesting and important. I kind of already knew this fact before. I feel like we all kind of know it, but confirmed by this girl who does psychology at Harvard, was talking about a study that she was doing and how, okay, I'm going to read it. Your inner voice is perceived by your brain the same way as if an outside person is talking to you. So if you're saying like in your head, like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Like, oh, I can't do that. I can't take that risk. Oh my gosh, I can't. Your brain is processing it as if someone is speaking that to you. So I think that's crazy. Because when I talk to myself, my inner voice is just my inner voice. Like, I have conversations with myself all the time, but I am constantly saying like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, why would I do that? Like, oh my God, I can't do that today. Ugh, I can't lift this. I can't go to the gym. Like, I'm saying that, and my brain is perceiving it, processing the things I'm saying as if someone is standing there saying it to me. And so my brain is like your brain is it's not like your brain's feelings are getting hurt, but it's like if you're consistently saying like negative things about yourself to yourself, your brain is perceiving that as someone saying that to you. Like, that someone is you. You know yourself better than anyone else. If you're telling your brain like I am so stupid, your brain's going to probably think you're fucking stupid. We've always kind of known that your brain, like, that you have to be nice to yourself when you have to talk nice to yourself. If you wouldn't say it to someone else, why are you saying it to yourself? But genuinely, it's like psychologically, like in your brain, you can't say that to yourself because that's what your brain is listening to. And your inner voice is probably speaking to you more than anyone else in your entire life, right? As I said, I have conversations with my inner brain all the time, my inner voice. I'm always talking to myself, and I often am like tearing myself down. Like, what would you do if someone like said to you every single day, "Oh my gosh, you're actually so stupid." That's that's crazy. So why do you feel comfortable saying that to yourself every day? Like, what? That's just something to sit and think about. I'm not going to go into detail on it because I feel like you understand what I'm trying to say, and it's not something that I can like convince you of. I feel like it's so hard to remember that and to like not do that and not talk negatively to yourself. It's kind of hard because it's like I'm the only one I can talk negatively to and get away with it. I'm the only one who I can say like, Joanna, you low-key are dumb as fuck, and I can get away with that and it doesn't hurt anyone but myself. But that is hurting your brain, and that's like going straight to your brain as if someone else is saying it, and I didn't know that all. I digress. With that being said, I feel like that's just a great way to end the podcast, just something to think about, a little thing to think about in your brain. But I really want you guys to take what I said into consideration about your friendships and about being a good friend. And we really do need to be good friends to each other, especially in our 20s. Like, this is literally like building blocks for the rest of your life. The people you're around might be around for the rest of your life. And if those are not good people and not good friendships, that's just not a place that you want to be in as you're navigating the world, and as you're going around and finding out who you are and who everyone else is. It's not great to have a bunch of terrible friends by your side. You need an army of good people. Thank you for listening. I hope this episode made you feel something. As always, that's literally my only goal. I hope you laughed. I hope you cried, got mad, got annoyed. Like, I hope you felt a feeling, and I always do. And I will talk to you guys all next week. Bye.